Have you ever noticed? Some people almost never post photos of themselves online. No selfies, no vacation pics, no new haircut updates, just silence. In a world obsessed with sharing every moment, they choose to stay unseen. But why? What does psychology say about people who don't post their photos on social media? Let's find out. We live in what psychologists call the visibility era, where your online presence becomes part of your identity. Posting photos isn't just about sharing, it's about existing in the digital world. So when someone chooses not to post, it often stands out. It makes us curious. Are they shy, secretive, insecure, or just different? The truth, as psychology reveals, is far more complex. Some people are what psychologists call observers. They love to watch, not in a creepy way, but in a reflective, thoughtful way. They scroll, they read, they absorb. They might like your post, laugh at your meme, but they don't feel the need to add their own face to the noise. To them, social media isn't a stage, it's a window. They prefer to look through it rather than perform behind it. This type of person often scores high in introversion and self-reflection. They find meaning in watching human behavior, not necessarily displaying their own. Another reason people don't post photos, they're simply secure. According to research, people with higher self-esteem often feel less pressure to prove themselves online. They don't need validation from likes or comments. Their self-worth doesn't depend on attention. They might enjoy real-life interactions more, eye contact, laughter, a quiet dinner with friends. To them, those moments don't need an audience. Psychologists call this low social comparison orientation. They don't constantly measure themselves against others. They're at peace being unseen. For some, it's not about confidence or shyness. It's about control. They understand how much information a photo can reveal. Where you are, who you're with, what you own. In an age of data tracking and digital footprints, they choose boundaries. They believe, my life is mine, not for the internet to analyze. And that belief isn't paranoia, it's awareness. Research from Harvard shows that oversharing can unconsciously lead to identity stress. The pressure of maintaining an image that isn't always real. People who avoid posting photos often experience less of that stress. They don't live for the algorithm, they live for themselves. But there's another side. Not all silence is strength. Some people avoid posting photos because they fear judgment. Maybe they've been criticized before for how they look, how they dress, or how good their photo is. Maybe they compare themselves to others and feel they don't measure up. This is what psychologists call evaluation apprehension. It's the anxiety that others will negatively evaluate us. For these individuals, avoiding photos becomes a protective shield, a way to avoid potential rejection. And sometimes, that's okay. It's a form of emotional self-defense, a way of saying, I'll share myself when I feel safe enough. Ironically, some of the people who don't post are actually the most authentic. They don't need to perform authenticity online. They live it privately. They might still take photos, but just for themselves, for memory, for meaning, not for likes. And when they do share something, it often feels more real, because it's rare, because it means something. Psychologists refer to this as selective authenticity. It's not about hiding, it's about curating what matters. There's something fascinating about mystery. When someone doesn't post their photos, our brains fill in the blanks. We become curious, intrigued. It's the mystery effect, a psychological phenomenon where the absence of information creates more attention than oversharing ever could. It's why some public figures who remain private seem more interesting. Their silence speaks louder than constant noise. Of course, not posting photos doesn't make someone superior. It's about intention. Why we share, or don't share, says more about us than the act itself. The healthiest mindset? To share because you want to, not because you need to. To live moments for yourself first, then decide if they're worth showing the world. Because real confidence isn't about being seen. It's about being comfortable whether you're seen or not. Do you share to connect or to be seen? Whichever one you are, there's no right or wrong, just a reflection of how you see yourself in a world that never stops looking. And if you enjoyed this reflection, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep exploring the mind with us.